Okay. Hi guys, it's so nice to be back with you again. I've missed you. We haven't done video for probably better part of 3 months. There's a lot going on here, just like you guys. You know, stuff happens. I had a big trip to California that really, it's kind of changing my whole scenario here with my business a little bit, and I'll have lots of news for that for you going on down the road, because it's going to mean really nice new products for you to try. So I'll be sharing them with you. So I had that, and then I ended up in the hospital for a while, and then Javi went to Chile for like, what, 2 weeks or something, and she just got back. So we're just trying to get things straightened up and get moving again. But anyway, today I've got a really neat video for you. It's embellishing vintage lockets. We have a really good stash of vintage lockets. Did you know that there are only like 2, maybe 3 locket makers left in the United States, and a lot of them aren't making all the styles anymore? So I was thrilled to find this stash of old lockets, and we bought them down deep, and so we're going to have a good stash of old lockets for a long time. But then it's like, what do you do with them? You know, how do you make them look better? How do you make them your own? Well, that's what I'm going to share with you today. So we're going to do that, and I'm also going to show you how to make a waterfall effect with rhinestone, fine rhinestone chain, about 2 millimeter, and how to embellish one of these little treasure boxes. Is that showing up? Yeah, these are so sweet, and I can actually get more of these when we run out of the vintage, so that's cool too. But anyway, come on over here, because we've got a lot of ground to cover, and you know how I do, I kind of go along, so let's get on it. Come on over. Okay, so we have quite a variety of vintage lockets here to share with you. And as you can see, I've already put color on a lot of them. They start out completely raw, nothing's on them. I wish I'd brought one over here to show you, but I think you get the gist of it. I used a torch on a number of these first. On this one, and this one, and this one. I used a torch first. In fact, this one only has torch on it, and then some Swelligant darkening patina, which I buffed back. And this is one of my favorite lockets. I'm going to really cry when these are gone. I mean, truly, I'm going to cry, because this is one of my favorite ones. And then I did a little bit of paint enhancement on these after I did the torch, because sometimes with a torch, you can get these beautiful colors, but sometimes you just never know what you're going to get, and then you need a little bit of something here and there, because sometimes it's a little uneven. But I love to start that way with a torch, because it gives the brass some tooth and some background. So if you're curious about how that works and how you can apply patina with a torch, please just refer back through my videos, and you'll see there are a couple of really good videos on how to do it with a micro torch. The best one is the one I did for the Blazer company, so look for that one. And you can also go to their website, www.blazer.com, and you can look up more information on micro torches. If you're going to buy one, buy theirs. They're the best. Okay, so I did these. I added a little paint to this one too. And then I did some that are just paint. And for my paint, I used the Vintage inks, which I don't carry anymore, and it's about the only thing from Vintage that I did carry. I think I had the folders, since we have our own brass. But anyway, I love their inks, and they're a Ranger product. You can find them most anywhere, so they're not hard to find. But I used them on this, and then they set up real quick. So then after they dried, then I went ahead and I used my buffing block. Just use one of these deals, you know, that you get like 10 in a bag for next to nothing. And I sanded it down. People use them on their nails, I guess. So I did that, and this one, this pretty color, I got this beautiful blue one, and they've all been distressed back, and that paint's good for that too. It really allows you to do that. I painted this one white, and I just did this one with spray paint. And the shabby white, you know, go back to my videos on shabby whites. You'll see them, how I love to prime stuff with white spray paint. And that's exactly what was done here, and I did nothing else to it. I just buffed it back and got the gold to come back up through from the brass. And then I embellished it, and I think it came out kind of sweet. I kind of like it. Is that showing up, Javi? No?
Towards the middle.
Towards the middle. Okay. We're trying new techniques so you guys can see better. So she's doing a remote deal over there. So anyway, I like how, and you know what I found out when I went to put that watch on there? It works. I don't know for how long it's going to work, but it works. It's going strong. Not the right time, but it's working. Anyway, so I did that. And this is just a, you know, a typical mini assemblage on top of there. We're going to do a few of them together. So anyway, what I'm going to say to you is get out your paints. You can use your Lumiere paints to do this. We still do carry the Lumiere kits. I carry a bit of the Swelligan. I carry some of the brass and copper and what, bronze, metal coatings, and some of the patinas yet, because that's just a courteous thing to do for you since I refer you to them a lot. We still have those, and we still have the perfect pearls and stuff, which if I had a little bit more time this week, I would have liked to have done some perfect pearls over this one, because I think that would have just made it shimmery and beautiful. So maybe another time we'll do that. But anyway, let's work on just a few things here today before I end up waxing really long, and it's an hour long, and everybody's saying, geez, can't you ever shut up? Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to talk about these little chests, because I think you're going to find them intriguing. I used to actually carry these on the website and back in my eBay days, long time ago. And then when I found my stash, they had a bunch of them in there, so I said, oh, what the hey, let's get them, because they're fun. So what I did is on these two, I did the shabby whites on top first with spray paint. That's all, just hit them with the shabby whites. This one I painted inside. Now watch and see if I got it glued shut. See, that's the thing you got to watch with this, is getting it glued shut. And then I painted a little bit inside. I could do a little bit better than that yet. And you can just do spray paint too, which I didn't do, but I will. I'll go back and do that later. Even if I put stuff on it, I can still spray paint the inside. It's no big deal. So anyway, when I did that, yeah, that just clears that. So you got to watch whenever you embellish these that whatever you put does not obstruct the hinge or the opening apparatus, because if you do, then you're going to have to never open it. That takes away some of the charm. Okay, this one I did. This one was done with Swelligan Tiffany Green patina over top the brass. I did not use a metal coat because when you go over raw brass, there's no resist. The brass grabs the patina because it's metal, and you're good to go. So I just used the Tiffany Green. If you want to know how to use Swelligan, I've got numerous videos on how to use Swelligan. Just tap Swelligan into the search box on my channel, and you're going to find tons of them. Really easy to use. Love the product. It's great. Thank you, Christy Friesen, for doing Swelligan for us. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about how you can embellish one of these little jobbies, okay? Okay, now, I'm going to do it on this one. Maybe I'll leave these in the line of sight so you can still see them. Can they still see those? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to use this little white job, and I'm going to have to probably turn it toward me while I'm working on it, but then I'll turn around for you guys. You'll notice on the top of it, there's a little hanging hole. And so that's where you would put wire through or a jump ring so that you could hang it. And then when you'd hang it, you would need a long chain, because you can't put this up close by your neck. It's going to stick out really dumb. You got to have it, you know, down. So you're going to need to do this on like a 30-inch chain at least. But that's okay, because 30-inch chains sell real well now, and they're good for layering. So anyway, but to embellish this, I mean, really, you can do whatever you want. And this paint on here is very, very uneven, but that's the shabby white effect, so it's cool. It's all fine. It's all good. So I'm just going to do something really simple, and of course I'm going to get out my E6000, and you know the standard lecture on E6000, don't be eaten. If you're drinking, have it in a closed container. You know, keep it off your hands and all that good garbage. You know, if it gets on your hands, as soon as you're done, get it off, because it's not healthy to use. However, it is the best product. So you can see here, I am about to glue a little finding, a little leaf finding, which I have bent, and I'll tell you why I've bent it in just a minute. Set that there. It's going to go right down over the top of the lunchbox. It's kind of like a lunchbox. So I have it bent It doesn't matter that that glue glob's out there. We're going to be covering that. It's fine. Don't worry about that. What we want to do is get this moved in here so that those little flowers kind of drape down over the back and over the front. Now what you'll do is when this glue sets up really well, then you're going to be able to make some more adjustments in it. But for right now, you can only get just so close. You know, you could fiddle around with it and get it really tight, but then it might be better to do it after so that you be sure that you're not blocking the hinge or any of the apparatus you need to open and shut the locket. So I put it there, and that looks really pretty, like flowers and ivy draping down over that. Okay, this is going to be very, very simple. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my little ceramic roses and my E6000, and then I am going to get just enough on the back of that rose so it's not glurping out everywhere. And I am going to point it this way and just tap on it lightly. Well, that's the front. Yeah, I want it this way. I want it to go towards the front with the leaf to the side. Okay, tap on it lightly so it's in place. E6000 is great stuff. It will hold that. But see, you don't want this part down too tight in there because then you're not going to be able to open it. And like I say, that's the charm of these things, is to be able to open them. So whatever you put on them, be sure that it is not obstructing the hinge or the opening apparatus or any place where it would open. Okay, now I do have some glue glob glurpies. What do we do about that in this case? Very, very simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few of these nice little pearly durlies here, no hole pearls, and I'll take my needle nose tweezers and I'm going to lay a few in. Now, just so you know, putting pearls on like this is like one about the most old school, old-fashioned ways that you could approach it. It takes forever. I don't mind because I find it relaxing, but it is kind of difficult. You have to get just the right amount of glue on there or else it looks awful. It takes too long. You know, if you were doing this production, say that you were making these to sell and you had to make a whole bunch of them, so you had a great big order, you would never want to do it this way because you'll never get done. And you know what? Time's money. Time is money. I learned recently that in production in a factory, even a few minutes hold up on a piece because of a bad technique can ruin the profit on it because of the way the prices break down. So, you know, you can do it this way if you want, but honestly, I need to explore better ways. I have been exploring better ways. I just haven't found one that I thought was super effective. So, there are some things. You can use a dop stick, which you can get sometimes from a jeweler's supply. You can use what's it called, crystal katana, and it will set stuff fast. If you have hot fix rhinestones, you could use the hot fix apparatus, but that's not going to work for this. There are things that could be done, and I'm sure you can find YouTubes on them, and I need to do a little bit of that research myself. But anyway, I got them on. And I'll go back probably and add a few more later when I'm done. But for now, you have the concept, you know, just to get some little leaves and put on there, and then afterwards you can manipulate this brass a little bit more and make it look a little bit nicer. And then of course too, you want to go back if you've got glue showing, get rid of it if you can. We don't want glue showing. That's one of the biggest things about assemblage. Quality assemblage work, no glue is showing. I mean, if you got to go back over your stuff 50 times, make sure no glue is showing, especially on the front. Sometimes a little bit peeking out in the back, say when you're doing a crescent collage, is not the end of the world, but rather not see it, to be honest with you. Rather not see it. So anyway, it's as simple as that. You play with it and you have some fun. I did this one with a manipulated leaf and some little pearls. I put a bead cap, an inverted bead cap in the top there to catch some of the pearls. Put a couple little sparklers in there and a little bit of rhinestone chain. And it still opens. Some glue stick, I don't want that gone. But what you got to make sure of is that you keep this free. Pull that off there. Keep this hole free because you can't hang through it. If you can't, if you block this, you're not going to open it. You block this hinge in the back, you're not going to open it. Why do I know that? I used to do big ones like this. Back in the day when I had my line, I would search and find the old metal lunchbox. It's like Grandpa took into the mill. I'd spray paint them, I'd pat them out inside, and I would chalk them up completely. All over the dome, the back, the sides, everything, till you couldn't hardly see the lunchbox anymore. It would be completely covered with busted jewelry and stampings and chalk and all that. And the stores would buy them for their windows, because they were conversation pieces that would bring people in. I did get a few orders for people who wanted to carry them, but I wouldn't know why somebody would carry it. It's too heavy. But anyway, they were a lot of fun to make. Now, so this is a mini version of that. Okay, so I hope you have fun with that. You'll find these on the website in the Lockets section. They're like $5.75. Not bad. Okay, so moving on, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this locket, which is one that I torched, and you can see the torching inside. I might do something inside with this yet. I might take a little spray paint, hit that, and then seal it. Just might. But it's not going to matter what I do on the front right now. If I do it, I don't. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to make a rhinestone waterfall on the front of this. So how am I going to do that? Well, first thing I got to have is a bunch of rhinestones. Like, a lot of you call it cup chain. I always called it rhinestone chain, but I always hear it referred to as cup chain now, so okay, cup chain. This is 2mm. It's Swarovski, but at our site, we sell check Preciosa because, honestly, I think it's just as good. So I'm going to cut this in random lengths, longer lengths. I have some cut, and I'm going to have a few more. Just random, because even if you have to trim it, you're going to be able to use the snippets in assemblage, so it's no big deal. No big deal. Okay, if I don't have enough, I'll go get them. Now, this is so easy, and it's so cool and so much fun. Do you see what we're going to do? Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out where do I want my line of chain to go. Well, I've got this fish gargoyle thing, stamping. Maybe some of you have seen them. We have a bunch of them on the site in different plating shades. I think we have them raw too. Anyway, I want this to go on here. And I have to bend it a little bit so that it'll go flat. Okay, that'll be good enough. Okay, I want him to go on there, but I want, let's turn it around, I want like a waterfall of this rhinestone chain coming out of his mouth. So, I got to figure out how far up do I need to go. Maybe about here so that I can place him over it. Because see, it's kind of hooved up there in the middle so that you've got some dimensions so something can come out. So anyway, so I have to turn this toward me. Now I'm going to take my Faithful E6000 and I'm just going to go across about this far. Just like that. And then I'm going to cover this up so it doesn't run all over creation. And then I'm going to kind of lay him over it, not all the way, oh, not all the way, but I want to see if I have clearance. Yeah, I'm good. I think I'll put just a little bit more right below that. Some things you just kind of have to measure it up and eyeball it as you go. That's really a lot of what assemblage is anyway. Just eyeballing it, measuring it up as you go. Okay, I'm going to take a piece of my chain. I like to work this way. So I'm going to take a piece that I think would look good in the middle. I'm just going to pull that up and just lay it into that glurp like that. And then I'm just going to layer it here. I've got a piece of blue. You know what? It doesn't matter if this is longer or whatever, because you will trim it. This is set up. You trim the chain and make them random lengths, and then it will look really cool. And I'm going to show you what it looks like done in a little bit. I just want to show you the technique. Let me keep my hands out because I know we'll have complaints. And Javi's gone to all this effort to make the camera so that I don't have to have my hands in the way anymore.
Well, I don't think your hands are in the way.
They're not?
No, they're not.
Oh, she's saying I'm okay?
Yeah.
I'm over here all worried about nothing, huh, Javi?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. Well, that's typical, right? And Brenda always worries about nothing. Okay. Stop worrying about that. She's over there. She's doing this all remote with her phone. I don't know. You techie people probably know all about that, but I don't have a clue. This is why we can't do video when Javi takes off and goes somewhere. Because I don't know how. The only other person who knows how is Rob, and he's with Javi. He's with Javi, so too bad, Aunt Brenna. I don't know what I would do without those two. I'm telling you what. We wouldn't even be on video if it wasn't for Rob. He was the one who talked me into doing it. Those were some wonky videos. And if you go back to kind of the beginning of our videos listed at YouTube, you're going to see some really crazy stuff. He wouldn't use a tripod. So he felt that he could get in closer and get a better shot, you know, if he just went over my shoulder. But it was all shaky and everything. But hey, you guys watched them. People still do, so I never took them down. Okay, so you see how that goes, right? You got a pretty good header of glue going on here to take care of that. Now, these are pretty much all the same, but I'm going to fix that later. Wait a minute. I could just fix that now. This one will be toward the middle, so I'm going to clip this with my... No, I'm not. I changed my mind. Trial and error. No, I'm not. I'm doing that later because I don't want to screw it up on here. Okay, so now I need to turn this toward me, make sure I got it all in the middle. If I didn't, I got to get it straightened up, so I'll just do that by pushing in, pushing up. Okay, it looks pretty good eyeballing it. So now, that's my waterfall of rhinestone chain. And now I'm going to put my gargoyle fish over that and hope it fits. Ooh, it does. And you know what? Even if it didn't, I can kind of push it in a little bit. So it's all good. It's all good. Okay, so now I want to affix him right about there. So to do that, I'm going to have to go on the back side of this guy, get a toothpick, take my glue, and apply to the back of his fishiness, his royal fishiness. This is one of the favorite finds. People love this guy, and a lot of people have done the waterfall effect thing with him. It just kind of seems to suggest that. The stamping kind of suggests it. Says nobody copying anybody. It's just, you know, some things go to the natural use of the finding. So I just would really love to find an old piece of jewelry that used this stamping, because you know these stampings all come from vintage dies. You know, these all were used in vintage jewelry. And then around in the 50s, in what they call the Victorian Revival period, the dies were brought back into play, refurbished, and they started to run them again because the look was popular again. And we still have them today. We can still get them today. But you know, I started to tell you about this new thing I'm doing. We are going to migrate to pewter castings at Bisa Boutiques. And our first parts of our new lines will be here probably within a month. You may see me playing with them on YouTube before that, because I do have a few coming in next week. But we're having them made for us, and they will be ours. So they're like what you call a proprietary product. That means that they belong to us and nobody else. So long as we keep those dies running, not dies, molds running, then they're ours, nobody else's. And we're going to have some crazy good product you guys are going to love. It's made from antique molds that haven't seen the light of day in who knows how long. From a huge library of the same. So it's just a really, really cool thing. And they're going to be made for us by a famous jewelry company that you guys would all recognize, who has really never done this before. So it's an experiment for me, and it's an experiment for them as well. And we're going to see where the road takes us. And so far, I have shown online some of the initial castings that I got back from the plater, because we had to see what they're going to look like plated. And the reaction is crazy good. People like just they're nuts about them. Just nuts. We're going to have a lot of connectors, focals. We're going to have a lot of bezels. They're not going to be like other companies. There's nothing wrong with other companies. It all goes to your taste, but these are all going to be from antique. So they're going to look old. Even the plating is going to make them look old. Okay, so I think I got the fish coated pretty good. And he's the brass stamping, of course, from those older times. And now I got to get him down on this locket so that it's even. Now some people would probably take and clamp that guy down, and I just might do that after we get done today. I may clamp him. Sometimes when you're going to clamp, it's good to let it kind of set up a little bit first, so that when you put the clamps on, it doesn't migrate, because that happens and it really stinks when it does. But anyway, this is what it's going to look like. But now you still got quite a bit of play in here in his mouth. So I'm thinking maybe that should be filled with something. Let's see what I can do. I'm thinking maybe some big pearls. And this is just, I'm thinking out loud, you know, so think out loud with me. Okay, I have these big no-hole pearls here. I wonder what would look. Maybe put a few of those in his mouth and some smaller ones for accent. There's a little bit of glue here on his nose. I'm going to leave that alone. When this is set up, I will clean that off. I don't want to take that off now. I don't think it's a good idea. Okay, so let's see what I can do. I've got one of these, and these are like, I think they're 10 millimeter no-hole pearls. And no, we don't have them at the site right now, but if you guys tell me you want them, I'll get them. Be happy to get them. I listen a lot to what you have to say about what you want. If it's possible and it's something that benefits us all, I'm going to shove that back up in his mouth because that'll make me a base. Then I'll get it. And that's why when I start coming out with this line of pewter castings, I'm going to be really, really interested in what you have to say and what you want, because that's going to help me to build that line. Okay? Stick that guy on there. I'm going to have some glue cleanup. No getting around it. There's going to be some glue cleanup here. It'll be kind of like, I don't know, kind of like bubbles coming out of his mouth. I wish I had some that were graduated sizes a little bit. That would really make it interesting. But this is going to work. Okay, so that's on there. So now what I want to do, don't want one more. I'm going to hold it up and look. Sometimes you just have to see. Yeah, I kind of like the look of that. So I'm going to put one more on there. Till this is all said and done, I get this cleaned up and made into something. You may find that I've done any number of other things to it. But the whole principle today was to show you how to get that guy glued on there over a waterfall chain. Now, I think now that this is facing me, I can go ahead and I can snip this. And I'm going to show you what I mean by random lengths. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get that off right there. Let's see how it's just very, very random. You can always adjust it up a little bit. So, you know, cut it long at first. And I'm going to leave this one in the middle of the longest. I'm going to try to cut this one here. You just eyeball it. You know, I'm all for eyeballing. Random jewelry making. That's what I'm about. Okay. So now I got this going on. What do I want to do now? I want to get this up here. Okay. So this needs to be a little bit shorter to look right. You know, I did 6 strands across there. It would have been better if I'd done 7. You know why? Because then you have that uneven number. You know, you do stuff in 3s, 5s, 7s, 9s, like that, so that you always kind of have the right thing in the middle. But anyway, that's how it goes. I don't want to hold that up too much so I don't want stuff falling off, but you can kind of see. And I'll work on that a little bit more too, yeah. But this is going to be awesome when it gets all done. So I'm going to set him right here. One last little thing I want to show you today, one last little project. Hey, and don't think that these are all wasted and I was like all terribly wasted. You save these. because they are wonderful in assemblage and you're going to use them a lot. Don't worry about these pieces that got cut short. You're going to use them for another waterfall. So it's fine. Nothing has been wasted here. Okay, so now I have a finding that I've patinaed and finished off in distress, and I've done the waterfall on this. Okay, as you can see, the pieces are quite random. I have 3 colors. I have a dark Madeira topaz, I have kind of an opalescent crystal, and I have a crystal. Okay, so then I've got my bead of glue, and this is set up already. I did this earlier today, so you can see it's all dangling pretty. So we want to put something over that. Well, what are we going to put over it? Well, this video is about lockets. So we're going to do lockets. I clipped the top hanging hole off of this because we don't want it on here. We have hanging holes at the side. So we need to glue this into the center of the piece. So I'm going to do that right now. And this is going to take a good bit of glue. I'm going to flip this guy over. And actually, this is going to hold okay because there's really not a lot of paint on it, but it would have been better, just so that you know, it would have been better if I had distressed that a little bit more and lifted it and given it a little bit more tooth. But it's going to be fine. Just saying. Would have been better. Okay, I've got a good bit of glurpy glue on there, so you can see. So now I'm going to just take and put that where I want it. Yeah, that's going to hold nice. Now I want to be sure that my hinge is lined up. I don't have it too high, I don't have it too low. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay, but now you could say, okay, cool, we're done. No, not really, because the problem is when you turn this sideways, you know me, I don't like cracks. So we got a lot of area in here in the side. And really there should be something along in there. But we want this to be able to open. Open along this edge. Here's our hinge, so we don't want to obstruct that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of asymmetrical work. That means work, is this in the middle, Javi, can you see it good? We're going to do a little bit right here, a little bit right here, and then just a little bit of flat fill, and we'll be done. So I have that lined up. And I have some chocolate ox flower stampings here that I'm going to go ahead and lay in like this. And I think I'm going to bend this one first. Something that's kind of a pet peeve with me, and it's just me, I do not like pointy things sticking up in the neckline of a collage. That's just one little piece. I may at the end of this go cut that right off. I just figure, like, if you get, I don't like pointy stuff sticking out. Like even on these little treasure chest collages, there's some adjusting that needs to be done. So I just stuck that right in the thing. And this is not going to obstruct this hinge here whatsoever. It's still going to open just fine. And that's imperative. You've got to do it. Now, if something is sticking out down here off the bottom, I don't mind that. I don't like it sticking up in the neckline. Oh, now I got a glue glove. I try to avoid that. Somebody's calling me. I'm not going to answer. I forgot there was a phone hooked up down here now. But it's not the office phone, so it's probably my mother. My poor little mama, as she forgets I work during the day. No, Mom, later. I'll get ya. Promise. Okay. My poor sweet little mama. Okay. So I've got this going this way and this way. So now I want to do some accent because that's kind of blah. So I took some Russian gold ones, and they'll fit, and they're not going to obstruct anything. So I'm going to just kind of go over that a little bit. You can still get your fingernail in there and open it. And these are manipulated a little bit, but once they're set up, I will manipulate them further and get them placed just the right way. You can really only do so much at the initial stages. And then when it's set up, then you can do more. Okay, so this one, and then this one will go, let's see, I don't want to get that thing sticking up. Push this down a little bit, maybe. Yeah, I'm liking it. But you got to get that stuck in there, because if you leave that up too much, it's going to obstruct the hinge. So we don't want to do that. But fortunately, there's enough of a crack there that we can go ahead and do that. So I've got that glob right there on my wood. So I gotta get that off. Globs. All right. I keep a wastebasket right here underneath on the base of this table, and then that way you can always throw stuff away fast. Okay, we should be good. The only thing is I've got some glue showing here. Let me put the cap on. I've got some glue showing here. Not too bad, not too bad. I can take care of that later. I don't think I want to put too much stuff on this. I had thought, you know, maybe to go do something like this and this. You know, tendency to put too much stuff on. I think I'm going to leave this alone like this. I may come back to it later and decide, oh, some little doofus, maybe a little pearl or something would be good. Maybe a rhinestone chain put around. I'll have it on my Facebook group. You can see it later. Or maybe we'll get it on the blog. You'll see how I finish it off. But this is the basic concept. And that's what I wanted you to have, was the basic concept. So let me turn it around this way so you can see a little bit better, so it's facing you. Isn't that pretty? That's going to be pretty. Get some nice, is this all showing? Is it completely? Okay, good. You can get some nice, like for example, I've got these. Ooh, see if I can get them over here without taking them off the string. These would be pretty with some like Madeira topaz fire polished beads going up in sections. You know, another thing you could do, and I have done, is you see these little flowers here? You could go get some flatbacks and maybe a pretty crystal AB or topaz AB. Ooh, topaz AB would be awesome. Kind of like, this is kind of like, no, that's not it. I thought I had some topaz AB. But anyway, you know, and you could just set them like a 3mm flat back. We have them at the site. I think we have 4s too. And put them like here, 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 here. And that would probably just totally finish it. You would not want anything else on there. You'd be just so finished and so pretty and so excellently made. You know, and then just beat up back and put a nice clasp. Usually with a necklace like this, I like to make them 20 inches. Now you could go 18 and then add a 2-inch extender, but normally I go 20 inches and add a 2-inch extender. I'm finding more and more people are more comfortable with it being a little bit longer. And if you make it so that it's what I call gypsy beaded, done in sections, you can always go back and take a link out. Same way as if you use chain. You can always go back and take a link out for somebody if you need to adjust it. So that's one of the reasons why I like doing things with chain and gypsy beading. So, or you could even do a multiple chain, like, I don't know if you noticed what I'm wearing. I don't know if I can get it off without being a tangled mess, but yeah, it's a tangled mess. This is like one necklace. Geez, I'm popular today. I made these waterfall necklaces. This is all rose oxen copper. Rose gold's very popular now. Montana beads. Like you could do, you know, I did a video on like a twisted chain going up. Not this color. Maybe brass ox or gold would be good. Or just bead your chain. Anyway, those are some ideas. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. I hope you got some new ideas. I think you're going to really, 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 really like this little box idea. I think I may even do some some submitting again, and I may submit something made out of these. That'd be cool. Do you know the last Jewelry Affair magazine had at least 3 references to Bisa Boutiques, maybe 4, by the artists who were accepted to have their projects shown in the magazine? They called me out, and I just thought that was so lovely of them, because we don't even advertise in there anymore. So there were 4, yeah, I think there were 4 mentions. I know there were at least 3. So people are using our products and loving them. So maybe it's time for me to submit some projects, huh? Yeah, I got some good ones here, actually. Okay, guys, well, listen. Today's Friday, so TGIF and all that. Have a great weekend. Next week, good Lord willing, A Creek Don't Rise. Katie Oskin will be back after a long hiatus from being at Bisa Boutiques. And she is going to teach a veneer technique, I think. And we're going to use some brass stampings along with it. But she'll be at large and in charge next week. And then after that, we're just going to sigue adelante, which means we're going to go forward and we're going to see what happens. Who knows, maybe one day I'll do a video in Spanish. That'll be a hoot. Maybe we get Javi's mom, Joycey, over here to do it with me. That would be a scream. You guys would love her. Okay, and Donna will be back one day soon. So bye-bye. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. Be creative. Keep your chin up. Don't let the stuff going on out there in the world affect you. Just keep moving, because it is what it is. Don't let it ruin your happiness. Okay? Be creative, guys. Love you. Bye.